guys, welcome to another edition of Social Distancing Experimental Baking with Bob and Kat. Say hi to the people, Bob. Isn't he just the sweetest? Best Instagram boyfriend ever. So in celebration of Earth Day, I'm so inspired by how everyone's being really conscious of conserving their resources and using what they have, especially during this period of social distancing. So that's what I'm doing here today. We're gonna make one of my favorite recipes, which is a fruit crisp. And I've adapted the recipe a little bit to use what I have in my house. I noticed some of my produce was going bad, and we're gonna adapt it even further today by using pure cane, which I've used this before and it's so great. It's a 1-to-1 sugar replacement that's non-GMO, low glycemic index, and to make the deal even sweeter, it is virtually zero waste because pure cane uses no toxic manufacturing. It all depends on the natural fermentation of the sugar cane. Sounds like a sweet deal to me. Let's get baking. So the first thing I'm going to do is soften the butter. I've got a cup of butter here. I'm going to go pop it in the microwave. You want to make sure that the butter is mostly melted, but not to a point of boiling, so that you can properly emulsify all of the ingredients. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get our fruit ready to put as our base. I've got some peaches here. And some blueberries. I don't know what it is, but there's something about the combination of peaches and blueberries that always reminds me of summer. I love making this recipe because I'm adding a teaspoon and a half of flour to just sort of bind it all together. Take a spoon and stir it up. Just take a little toss, make sure the flour coats everything. I love this recipe because it's so simple to put together. Here's our pre-greased pan, and the fruit just goes right in the bottom. Just plop it in there. And now we are ready to make the topping. I mean, that already looks delicious if you ask me. So now I've set my fruit aside, my oven's preheating at 350, and we have our butter. So I'm gonna take the butter and put it in there. It's a satisfying sound. And our pure cane is the next to go in. Lovely pure cane. I love making this recipe because it's such a fun, spontaneous thing to put together. You know, even if you don't have fruit in your house, it's so easy to throw together with just put all the ingredients in it for the crumble into a cast iron skillet and it makes a giant cookie. So now we've added in our sugar. We've got our flour. This is a cup of flour, throwing that in there. Make sure it's all mixed up. And then we're gonna add our oats in. Another cup of oats. There we go. Oh, it looks so pretty. Oats. But it's great because most people generally will have flour and sugar and oats and butter in their house. And it makes a fun recipe, even if it's, 3 in the morning and somebody gets a sweet tooth. I make this a lot for my family too. It's sort of become our go-to holiday dessert, or even for birthdays. This here is our last couple ingredients. It's some cinnamon and cinnamon to taste, as it were. And it's a 1/4 teaspoon of gluten-free baking powder and a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. Yeah, the science part of baking. Bring that all together to make our lovely crumble. Okay, so now our crumble is all mixed up and ready to go. I added a little bit of extra flour and a little bit of extra oats because depending on the consistency that your butter ends up, sometimes you just have to play around with it and freestyle a little bit. Yes, baking is a science, but even science calls for experiments, am I right? So now we have our fruit, and we're bringing it over here, and we're gonna add the crumble topping to it. Something I love about baking is that there's always memories associated with it, because people bake in celebration, people bake to have fun, to spend time with people. So every recipe that I have becomes a memory that then, I make that recipe in the future and it just brings it all back. And it's such a fun experience to share with people as well. I have many a fond memory of sitting around a cobbler pan with my friends and family talking about the day. Especially when we're all trying to find ways to pass the time, new skills to learn. I know I've definitely been experimenting quite a bit with my baking. So I hope you have found ways to make this too. Well, it looks like I have too much crumble. So I've got a smaller pan, and I think I'm gonna just make a cookie version as well. Because why not? Waste not, want not, am I right? And there you have it. We have our peach blueberry crumble with pure cane that's about to go in the oven. I usually bake it for around 30 to 45 minutes. Really, it just has to kind of cook the top until it gets golden brown and nice and crumbly. So off we go. I also have a little baby pan with a baby version. Little extra treat. Waste not, want not. Da 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 da. We have blueberry peach crumble. Now all that's left to do is eat it. Also, pro tip, it's great with a little vanilla ice cream or whatever kind of ice cream you might have in the house. It's great warm, it's great cold, it reheats well. It's pretty much the perfect social distancing dessert. Ah, the fruits of our labor. I love a good pun. Enjoy. As with all good things, experimentation sometimes pays off. Thank you so much for joining me today. I've had a pawsome time resourcefully baking with all of you and celebrating Earth Day, right, Bob? He always knows just what to say. To you and yours, happy baking, happy Earth Day. Be responsible, be resourceful, wash your hands, and be well. All my love.